band. Hello and welcome to another action-packed, exciting hour of the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Rewatch Along Project. This is podcasting the way it used to be and the way you like it. This show is a production of the Something Else Podcasting Network, and it is, believe it or not, episode number 100! Yay!
Yay!
Of Smoky Mountain Wrestling from December 25th, 1993, Christmas Day. Taped December 6th, 1993, from the Ash Central High School in Jefferson, North Carolina. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, I'll be honest, I didn't come up with one here for this one, but so I'll just say the Dr. Dutch Mantel to my Bob Caudle, it's Trae. Trae, how the hell are you today?
I'm tremendous, and I will also take bribes if anybody would like to bribe me for any reason.
I was gonna say, what exactly are they gonna be bribing you with or for?
I don't know, but I'm willing to sell out if anybody's interested in buying.
Oh Lord, that should make things interesting, I'd say. All right, so yeah, we are at episode number 100, and obviously, they didn't know this at the time, but this is the official halfway point. Um,
Yeah,
we're there's 200 episodes of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and we are officially halfway home. And I'll be honest, because it's been 2 years, because 100 episodes is 104 weeks. Well, 100 episodes is 100 weeks. But you know what the fuck I'm saying. But I'll be honest, these first 100 episodes have gone pretty fucking fast.
I've been here
Pretty.
for
Mhm.
I've been here for maybe 45 or so ish. I think I was in right around 50 or the early 50 probably.
Wasn't your
But
first
yeah,
episode when White Boy burned the Confederate flag?
yes.
Mm. You were here for a big heat angle. Um,
Uh, it
but
was a heat angle.
yeah. And this is a special episode of Smoky Mountain Rewatch Long Project. So to celebrate 100 episodes here on a show that will drop in 9 days from when we're recording this, we are going to give you our predictions for WrestleMania 41. And you can
We want to do
see,
that now. Get it.
no, I'd wait till the end. I
Okay,
think
okay,
because
do it at the end.
especially if the people listening just want to skip it, we can do
Yeah,
Smoky Mountain. Yeah.
yeah, we should probably
So
do the actual podcast first. You're right.
yeah, yep. All right, so let's dive in here. The Smoky Mountain Wrestling episode number 100, and go to the real Coddle and Dutch to intro the show.
Hi, wrestling fans. Welcome to another action-packed hour of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Professional wrestling the way it used to be and the way you like it. I'm Bob Caudle along with Dr. Dirty Dutch Mantel, and we got a great hour this week, fans. Our 100th show. Dutch, also, we got to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Bob. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
I can tell you do, Dutch. By the way, we're going to see Bobby Blaze, and we're going to see the Bruise Brothers in action right here. We're going to hear from the Dirty White Boy, also from the Dirty White Girl.
Oh, I feel good.
Primetime Brian Lee and Tammy Fitch. We're going to go back and take a look at some of the action that's been occurring between the Moondogs and the Bruise Brothers. What a feud that's turned into be. And we got a down and dirty, and also we got to beat the champ.
Well, I'm going to draw the name right now for the next contestant or the next participant to face Tracy Smothers in the Beat the Champ contest. And
wait a minute, Chris.
Well, are you guys busy right now?
While I was drawing Beat the Champ, you're interrupting me.
I'm sorry, but listen, I don't want to owe anybody anything, and I know Dutch, I wanted to catch him before I forgot. Here's that $200 I owe you. You know, $200.
200. Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
I owe it to you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay,
Excuse me, let me draw the Beat the Champ contestant today.
Hi, Bob.
Let me draw it. There it is. What? Hey, Chris, I've drawn your name.
No.
What a coincidence. You will be in. Yes, Chris Candido. See right there?
Hey, Lady Luck is on my side today.
Very good. Good luck, man.
Dutch. Fans, let's go to the ring.
You know, Trae, I take you know, a little bit of a whatever here with you because you're implying that Dutch Mantel that money was not something that Chris Candido owed him, that he took a bribe in order to pull Candido's name there.
You know what? I'm going to say it. He did. He did, and he's not ashamed of it, and I'm not either.
Can you prove that Chris Candido did not owe Dutch Mantel $200?
Well, Chris Candido's been dead for about 20 years, so I don't think I can get him on it, and I don't think Dutch is too into talking to people like me these days. So
People
yeah, I
like
guess you're right. I
you.
guess I can't. Yeah.
That's okay. Actually, you want to know something fucked up?
What was that?
Today, the day that the show drops, is the 20-year anniversary of Candido breaking his leg at Lockdown,
Oh God,
and
that
then he dies a couple
sucks.
days later. Yeah.
Oh God, it sucks so bad. He was fine. Like he had gotten his shit together, and
Yep.
he could have been. He was so young. He could have had another. He could have had another 15 years, and he would have been great. God, can you imagine him? Like he would have
He
been
would have
still
been
on the
still on the
level like
level.
Jerry Lynn and those guys into the late 2000s. He would have been great in like if we could like imagine Candido in Ring of Honor in like 06, 07.
Mm.
Oh God, imagine Candido against Bryan Danielson.
That would have been a pretty fucking nifty match. Um, and I mean, he he broke his leg at Lockdown, and they did the TV tapings the next day, and he was all over it because he was managing the Naturals, and they won the tag titles, and it's like they had a month of programming with Candido, and he's just like he's fucking Chris Candido. He's over the top. He's insane because that's when the Naturals won the belts, and it's like the show ended with Candido doing this crazy ass promo, and they have to put up a graphic right afterwards that he had passed. It's like it was kind of nutty.
That's a
Um,
legacy. It's a legacy.
yeah. But so we're being forced to watch a replay of the Moondogs this week. I gotta say, it's like not that I was expecting like a big blowout show, but for a 100th episode, there's you can't look at it that way, I guess, because like this was not like oh, we are making a big deal of 100 episodes. Like there was no, oh, let's look at a highlight of the first 100 episodes. Let's do a big main event. I mean, it's a decent main event, but it's like it's not like, oh, we're not having primetime Brian Lee versus Dirty White Boy for the Smoky Mountain title or something.
No, we're not. This was just a show. This was just the 100th one. It was a good show. I enjoyed the show.
Oh no, oh no, I did too. I just I want to hedge people's expectations as we go into this. And we go to our first match, which is Bobby Blaze versus Paul Lee. Uh, this is the third show that they taped during this TV taping, and Paul Lee has been the opener of every episode. He may be the new Dixie Dynamite, just the heel jobber version of Dixie. Um,
What the fuck happened to
so
Scott and Steve Armstrong?
I
They were in
imagine
this
they're
territory.
yes, they were.
They were
It
in this territory and they dropped off the face of the earth.
we're gonna see for the rest of this run. Smoky Mountain really only budgets 4 tag teams. So Scott and Steve were tag team number 5, and I'm fairly certain they do come back here and there, but it's I think we've reached the end of them as regular characters.
Yeah,
Um, so remember like 2 weeks ago when I said that Bobby Blaze with his new tights looked like a white Booker T?
I do recall
Well,
that. Yeah,
apparently, and I don't know if maybe this was like that time, but it looks like he cut off the leg of one of his tights. It looked like he was Zack. Remember when Zack Ryder used to have the
yeah,
one-legged tights? That's what
yes.
Bobby Blaze looked like here. Um,
Yeah, I
Caudle
didn't really notice. I believe you.
Caudle said that this is what he said. I should have timestamped this, but there's too many timestamps on this episode already. Caudle said that Bobby Blaze will have the chore of wrestling Prince Karis at Christmas Chaos. And I'm
He's
sure
not
that's not what he
lying.
actually meant. Yeah, I'm sure that's not what he meant, but it popped me.
It's like
Um,
back in the day. It's like back in the day when Jim Ross would say something was bowl and shoe ugly, and it's like if you were a casual fan, you understood what he meant, but if you were a smart fan, you understood what he meant on another level.
yeah. Um, so when I watched this match, I'd forgotten that Bobby Blaze wrestled like 2 weeks ago, even though I made that note. And so when Bobby Blaze won here, I asked, does this make Paul Lee the linear Turkey champion? But I guess whoever Bobby Blaze beat a couple weeks ago is the linear Turkey champion.
I
Anyway,
can look that up.
any
Go
thoughts
ahead.
on this match? I mean, it was just your standard opener. It was like 2 minutes
It
long.
was it was a nothing match. It was Bobby Blaze does a nice Northern Light suplex. I give him credit for
Yeah,
that.
indeed, he does. Let's now go to Darryl Van Horne, who's going to cut a very Darryl Van Horne promo.
All right, fans. Of course, one of the strangest pair in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, probably, I guess you might say, the real odd couple, are Darryl Van Horne and Prince Karis. But I tell you, Bobby Blaze, the guy has made his name with upsets. He just might pull one against the Big Prince.
Well, I want all of you Smoky Mountain rednecks to come in from out of the barn, stop fondling the livestock, and turn up the television. We're going to talk about Christmas Chaos, where Bobby Blaze will be the next soul to fall at the hands of the mighty Prince Karis. You know, Bobby Blaze, you're from Kentucky. That means you're the lowest form of filth on the planet. You know I'm telling the truth, redneck, so put your firearms away. You shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize. Let me tell you something, Bobby Blaze. You've had your career being known as an underdog, the big high school star who pulled off the upset victories. Well, you're not in high school anymore, Bobby Blaze. The days of Spike Punch and Stink Finger are gone. And it reminds me of an old song, Bob Caudle, you know, just what makes that little old ant think he can move a rubber tree plant. Bobby Blaze, you are an ant, and Prince Karis is the proverbial rubber tree plant. All of the wishing, all of the high hopes and support from this poor white trash you call your fan base will not prevent Prince Karis from crushing you like the insect that you are at Christmas Chaos. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to flog the manservants.
Trae, I don't know how to describe this. I've gotten to the point where it's like I'm popping for everything Darryl Van Horne says, and it's like I can't sit here and really talk to you about it.
I feel like this has come up on the show before. Did you ever watch Laverne and Shirley?
No, like I know the theme song and all that, but it's like I never really watched it.
Okay, well that was where I knew the ant and the rubber tree plant song. That was a recurring thing on that show that they would sing it to encourage each other because it's just what makes that little old ant think he can move that rubber tree plant because everyone knows an ant can't move a rubber tree plant, but he's got high hopes.
High hopes.
He's got
He's got
high hopes.
high hopes.
He's
He's
got
got
high apple
high
pie
apple
in
pie
the
in the
sky
sky
hopes.
hopes. See, I didn't know the
Yeah,
first half of that song.
yeah, it's you know what? I have not heard that in probably at least 20 years, probably 25, and it's burned into my memory. It's funny, it came up within the past like couple of months. It came up and I sang that song to my wife and she was like baffled. She had never heard it.
Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Haas and Pfeffer
As we
Incorporated. We're
That
gonna
was a good
do
show.
it. I honestly, I've got a thing for TV show theme songs, even for shows I never watch. Like Cheers,
Yeah.
I doubt I've ever watched an entire episode of Cheers, but it's like I'll watch the theme song, I'll listen to the theme song, 10 times a day.
Yeah, I like
Um,
Cheers. I watched a fair bit of Cheers back in the day.
Welcome Back, Cotter. Um, and
Oh, I
honestly,
loved Welcome Back, Cotter. Yeah.
this started when I was a kid when TV Land started, because TV Land would air, I don't know what they air nowadays. I think they just air like, well, not modern day, but like relatively recent programming, if they're even still a thing. But like when it started, like they were playing all these shows from the 50s and 60s, Addams Family, Green Acres, Mr. Ed. And that's probably when my love of TV theme songs started, because I'd sing along the Green Acres theme, the Mr. Ed theme, the Addams Family theme, and
Green Acres is the place to
place
be.
to be.
Farm living
Farm
is the
living
life
is the
for
life
me.
for me.
Land stretching
And
out so
spreading out
far
so
and
far
wide.
and
Take
wide.
Manhattan, just
Keep
give me that
Manhattan, just give me that
countryside.
countryside. Do, 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 do. I think
Oh,
I should point out, and I don't think I mentioned this to you lately, this has become our most listened to show of the three shows we do a week, every week. We may be turning off
uh,
all these.
oh, we just killed the town. Look,
Yes.
I know that we are not in harmony at all. That had to have sounded horrible for the listeners.
We don't have a good singing voice at all, but we I think we if at least one of us didn't know every lyric. It could have been me. I don't really know, but it's like we were pretty much in sync when we were singing the same lyrics.
Yeah.
So we'll call that a good one. So anyway, how the hell did we get that from a Darryl Van Horne? Oh yeah, we turned to the Laverne and Shirley thing. So
Yeah.
this promo probably would have gone longer than 90 seconds, but Darryl had to go flog the manservants. Um,
That made me laugh. That was weird.
uh,
He's a very
Bob
weird
then,
fellow.
yes, Bob then says, before we take a look at the number one contender, we're going to look at Tracy Smothers. I don't know why. That just seemed like another backhanded compliment by Bob on this show. Um, Now, this is actually a music video. I don't know if you had seen this, but I'm pretty sure we saw this last year when Tracy was just entering the territory, and maybe it was after that, but I know we've seen this music video before. It was like your generic, "Hey, Tracy Smothers is here, and let's introduce him to everybody here in Smoky Mountain."
Yeah, I don't think I had seen this before, but it was set to All I Can Do Is Write About It, the acoustic version by Leonard Skinner.
I don't think did I ever share with you, and or did you ever watch Tracy's debut promo where he's sitting on a porch swing and he's like, "I work for WCW and they had me say I was no longer the wild-eyed Southern boy. They said we were the Young Pistols and we were from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Now I've never been to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and I reckon I won't ever go there." And it was just like it was like the greatest like opening promo ever. Like it was such an aw shucks. This is the guy you take home to meet your grandmother kind of promo.
You
And
know,
you could see
the most absurd plot point in Ready to Rumble was the world title changing hands in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
okay, at least there was a reason for that one. Like the hell the hell this talk about Tracy Smothers bring up Ready to Rumble. All right. Um, so then we're gonna go to a promo with the love of your life. And I know you don't love her because she cuts great promos, but I think you and I are gonna have a conversation here in about 2 minutes. Well, because otherwise we just end the show if we weren't gonna have a conversation. Let's go to
Yeah,
that now.
fair point.
Hey fans, you just saw one of the competitors in the triple threat at Christmas Chaos. Here's another one. There's going to be 3 in the ring at one time. And this is the dirty white boy, dirty white girl. And I know you are still fuming, and she is too, about what happened to her last week.
That's exactly right. You know, Bob, in a little bit in the show, you're going to show exactly what happened last week. It's not the first time Brian Lee, and that whatever you want to call her, has put their hands on the dirty white girl. It's not the first, it's not the second. It's been time and time again. Well, prime time, I'm not going for that. No more, whether you like it or not. And at Christmas Chaos, triple threat, it's not going to be a threat, big boy. It's going to be a promise, because I'm going to come straight at you, and I'm going to bust that big horse head of yours. Now, as far as Tracy Smothers is concerned, you come out here, you say you don't like me. We're even. Everything's even, Stephen. You don't like me. Well, that's fine. I'm not concerned about it. The only thing I'm concerned about is Christmas Chaos, and that's walking out the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Champion. White girl, you got anything to say?
Oh, I got a lot to say. You gutter tramp. I am so mad, I can't even think of nothing to say, but I promise you, next time I meet you, not only am I going to dot both of your eyes, honey, you won't be walking out of the ring. Somebody will be carrying you out, and that's a damn promise.
It sounds to me like she's going to grab that little scrawny thing by that turkey neck, and she's liable to snap it. So, people, you sit them up tight, and you get ready, and we'll see you all at Christmas Chaos.
All right, and fans.
Okay, Trae, please defend that.
No, I'm not gonna.
Okay, good. Because we may have had one of our legendary fights if you tried to defend that. That was a shit promo by the Dirty White Girl. And White Boy's just
She,
like, so good.
she was just so angry. She was verklempt.
I doubt she's ever heard the word verklempt, much less be able to use that in the sentence.
Well, that's a Cornette
Uh,
word. She probably heard it at some point.
Dirty White Girl, I'm sure you're a lovely girl, and if you're listening to this, and I can't imagine why you wouldn't be, but if you're listening to this, nothing but love and respect, but you were not a good promo. And I'm positive you'll probably agree with that sentiment.
I,
You, you,
I, I don't care. I don't care.
before I
It
knew
doesn't affect my feelings.
before I knew what was coming on this show, I wrote that Mike Furness and Tim Horner have competition for worst on promos. That was before I knew what was coming on this show.
Uh, I will say though, uh, I laugh every time they call Brian Lee Horsehead, and I just think of Tracy Smothers. Shut up, Horsehead.
Here, I'll be honest, like I don't really think about these things because we all have flaws. There's something wrong with all of us. There's something about each of us we don't like. So I typically don't think about these things. But yeah, Brian Lee has a giant fucking head. Like,
He does, and it's vaguely horse-like.
that's there's a reason why he was the Underfaker, and it's not
Yeah.
just because he was 6'6". Um, here's another thing. Um, do you think Russo would have kept calling three ways triple threats if he knew Jim Cornette was the one that came up with that term?
No, he would
I,
have called him fucking. He'd have come up with something really stupid.
I don't doubt that. Because I mean, he's managed to come up with like 200 different names for a fucking street fight. It's like you don't need to cutesy it up. Just it's a street fight, you know? It's like when AEW has an unsanctioned match, an unsanctioned lights out match, it's like everybody doesn't have the same unsanctioned lights out match. But they don't say this is a Kenny Omega lights out match. This is a John Moxley lights out match. But if Kenny Omega and John Moxley have a lights out match, you know the type of match they're going to have. They don't have to cutesy the name up to, have it be unique to one person.
Uh, yeah, that's and I can't imagine that he had any idea where the source of the term was.
So then we get El Hijo del Santo and Rock Regal versus the Heresies. Once again, we're splitting up the GOAT tag team of Smoky Mountain, Rock Regal and Michael Collins, the winners of the fastest match in Smoky Mountain wrestling history 2 weeks ago. Caudle, here's another time. I think there was something in Caudle's eggnog during this episode because Jesus Christ, Dutch is talking and Caudle basically asked him to shut up.
They were bickering like an old married couple during this match. They were bickering like Trae and Arya during this match.
I've never popped so much for Bob Caudle in one episode.
I was amused by Dutch Mantel, who has long hair, says that the Bruise Brothers, who have very long hair and have just come out to a song titled "Get a Haircut," should get a haircut. And eventually they do.
Well,
they get
they will,
quite a haircut,
but not for like 4 years, 3 years, maybe.
Is it that long? Yeah,
I mean,
because it's not
it was.
probably not until
I mean,
the Disciples of Apocalypse, is it?
yeah, because they were the Blue Brothers in WWE. Then they were the Bruise Brothers in ECW during the summer of '96, and then the next time we saw them was the Disciples of Apocalypse when they were
Was
Skull
Dutch
and
their
or
man,
Eight
or
Ball.
who was their manager in the
Du-
WWF? Was it
Dutch was their
Dutch?
manager as the Blue Brothers.
Yeah, okay. Was
He
that
was
Uncle Zebekiah
Unc
or what was his name?
yes. He was Uncle Zebekiah. Then when he managed Bradshaw, he was just Zebekiah.
And then later he was just Zeb.
And then Zeb Coulter. Then back to just Zeb.
Yeah.
Um, but it's sad that they gave that fucking amazing theme song to Jack Swagger. It's like when they broke up the Real Americans, I wanted Cesaro to get it, but well, they didn't give it to Cesaro.
I'm trying to remember and I can't even remember the
You, you don't remember the Jack Swagger theme song when he was with Zeb?
kinda I remember his like I kinda remember his first singles theme, but I don't think it's the same
Yeah.
theme.
No, that was too perky. Um, this was like da 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 da
Uh,
da da da. You don't remember that?
no,
Okay.
I just I remember being at
This is
WrestleMania 30, the pre-show, the tag match. It was four teams, and two of them were the Usos and the Real Americans. And I just remember
I
like
think
me and guy in front of me were getting really animated and just kind of having fun with each other because he was cheering for the Usos and like I was like I guess I was technically cheering for the Real I was cheering for Claudio, but I
yeah.
don't know. I just have a fond memory of that.
And the other two were Rybaxel and the Colons.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
there's always like for some reason for years, like in my head, it was Cody and Goldust in that match, but they were in the Battle Royal. That
Well,
Cesaro won.
Claudio was in both.
Yes, yes, he was. That was the gimmick. Then the next year, they did both the four-way and the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on the pre-show, and everybody in the tag match except for whichever Uso was injured, because like one of them had like a separated shoulder, so they worked it into the match. And then
Yeah.
the other seven came out for the Battle Royal because they teased the Cesaro throws out Big Show spot again. And much like how Maven did not eliminate The Undertaker in 2003, Cesaro did not eliminate Big Show in 2015.
I was glad that they gave that to the Big Show just because, like, the whole every battle royal, every Royal Rumble, gonna oh the Giant has an advantage,
Yeah.
and then like that sounds stupid if the Giant never wins the battle royal. So I
He
appreciated the Big Show winning the second Andre.
yeah. He won World War III um, in
Oh yeah, he
1996. I think that
did.
was like the only other battle royal he ever won.
Yeah.
I mean, technically he won the Royal Rumble that 1 year, but that didn't count because he wasn't supposed
Still
to.
mad about that.
Oh God. Um, so where the hell was I? Oh yeah, here we are. The Harris's promo. Um, so they're gonna bark about the team that barks a lot. Actually, the other team doesn't talk at all, but whatever.
It's going to be settled. The Moondogs and the Bruise Brothers, they're going to get it on. They're going to wrap it up, and they're going to settle it.
Moondog, you run around, acting stupid and crazy and big and fat, and you're mugging us time after time. Come on, Moondog. You got yours. You got yours. You had your fun. Next weekend, Christmas chaos. It's like they said. We know you're coming. We know where you're at. You got yours. Come on, come get ours, baby, because we're going to tear it down.
I say.
Now, Trey, can you tell me one of the issues with Ron Harris's promo there?
Um, if you're not from the South, you have a hard time understanding it.
No, just the part where he said that next weekend at Christmas Chaos, they're going to be at the Moondogs. It's this weekend at Christmas Chaos. Because
Well,
much like how the second
yeah.
annual Thanksgiving Thunder Tour was actually on Thanksgiving weekend, the second annual
Um,
Christmas Chaos Tour is on Christmas weekend.
I'll give them a break. They taped this 3 weeks ago.
True that, true that. He also accused the Moondogs of acting fat. I don't know how one acts fat, but figure if
Fat.
anyone does, I guess the Moondogs do.
Someone's at the front door.
Someone's at the front
What's
door.
going on? Huh.
Oh,
Do you need to go check that out?
no.
Okay. All right. So remember at the beginning of this episode when Dutch said that there's going to be an episode of Down and Dirty with Dutch? Did you notice he never said who was going to be on Down and Dirty with Dutch this week?
Uh, I did not register with that, and then I kind of realized later that it's just a revolving door of like three people that are on Down and Dirty with
Yeah.
Dutch. Well, four sometimes. Sometimes it's Jim Cornette, sometimes it's Tracy Smothers, sometimes it's Dirty White Boy, sometimes it's Rock and Roll Express.
Yep. In the early days of this show, it was uh 3 weeks. It would be Bullet Bob Armstrong 1 week, Jim Cornette 1 week, and Dirty White Boy and Mr. Ron Wright 1 week.
I mean, that
And it was
sounds pretty
always those
entertaining.
three. Yeah, I mean, it was great, but it's like after a while, it was like a running joke. And it was like, oh, Dirty White Boy was last week, Jim Cornette's this week, and I'll spoiler alert, next week's probably going to be Bullet Bob. And sure enough, it was usually Bullet Bob.
By
All
the way,
right.
that was my
Mhm.
my sister-in-law is going to come visit here next week or so, and she has a very large silly dog girl named Charlie, who's like a big giant 120-pound black lab. And she is bringing a bunch of stuff for us, so she didn't want to put the dog crate in the car and take up space.
Mhm.
So she just shipped a new dog crate, and that was the dog crate.
Now, are you going to fuck with her and like move to your new house and not tell her?
Well, no, that's why she's coming down.
Oh, see, I just thought it was like she's just coming down to visit
No,
and it's like,
it's
don't
funny.
tell her we're moving. Just
No. So I may have mentioned, I don't know if I've ever explicitly said on the show before, my wife is blind. And so she had to do the final walkthrough of the house this morning. And I was driving, so I couldn't do it. So did I tell you what I got her for Christmas? The smart glasses?
I don't think so.
So they're called they're by Meta, like the Facebook parent company, but
Yep.
and they're with like they're in with Ray-Ban, and they're these
Mhm.
smart glasses that connect to your phone and do all kinds of stuff, and they're really popular with blind people for like obvious reasons. And then she was like, all of her friends were getting them, and she was like him hawing about it. And I'm like, well, I can't let my sweetie be the only like, not have what all the other cool blind kids have. So I
Hmm.
got her the smart glasses for Christmas. So today that was what she did. She like video called her sister and did the walkthrough of the house with her.
Now, if you wouldn't have bought it for her, she would have had no idea. Now I know she's not like totally
Yeah.
blind. I know she can see, but to some degree. But all right. So before Down and Dirty with Dutch, we saw a replay of what happened last week with Dirty White Boy, Primetime Brian Lee, and Tracy Smothers. And as you could probably guess, because we heard from Dirty White Boy and we saw a video package of Tracy Smothers, the guests on Down and Dirty were Primetime Brian Lee and Tammy Witch with a capital B. Let's go to that now.
I have my special guest here, the current reigning Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Champion, primetime, top of the line, Brian Lee, and the First Lady of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Miss Tammy Fitz. Now, Brian, my first question to you. I heard the white boy out here. You heard the white boy out here. You've heard what Tracy Smothers has had to say. But it seems like to me they are more concerned with each other. You may be the forgotten man in the triple threat.
You know that you're exactly right, Dutch. Dirty White Boy, Tracy, I don't know if they're going to run a foot race, if they're going to kiss and make up or stab each other in the back. But boys, you're overlooking one thing. 6'8", 280 pounds, and I'm wearing the gold, and I have the girl, and you want that, but you can't have it. Triple threat match, I'll tell you what. When we step in the ring, one man's coming out victorious like I always do, and the First Lady will walk down that aisle with me as a champion.
Excellent comments. Now, let me ask you this. Were you trying to improve the Dirty White Girl's looks last week?
Doesn't she look good now? She
Like
looks like the street corner slut that I've always said she was. I mean, I tried to help her out of the goodness of my heart. I tried to help her and give her some of my beauty tips and the makeup tips. And she doesn't look any better than that clown I saw at the circus last week. And I don't think she could ever look better than a clown with the way she looks. But you know what? I don't think we have to worry about this triple threat match because, Brian, you won't have a problem, will you?
You're exactly right, darling. I'll tell you what, this weekend, Christmas Chaos, primetime Brian Lee's walking in as a Smoky Mountain champion and walking out as a Smoky Mountain champion. Come on, First Lady.
Now you heard it. Some good words from the Smoky Mountain champion and the First Lady. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And Tammy, you look very nice today.
Okay. So Trae,
You know what they?
I understand, Trae, that I had to restrain you from discovering what prison Tammy Sitch is locked in and going after her.
You know what they should have done? They should have done a three-way. They should have done a three-way mix tag with Brian Lee and Tammy against the Dirty Whites, boy and girl, against Tracy Smothers and Margie.
I don't know. I think Margie may have turned on Tracy.
I think Margie would have shot on Tammy. I think she would
I
have
went
told
to
Tammy
that.
we do this the easy way or the hard way.
I went to that chicken place he told me about, and I couldn't find the.
Oh,
Oh God, poor Margie.
love you, Margie.
So yes. So she said, "Dirty white girl looks like the street corner slut she always said she was." I could hear the steam coming out of your ears from Texas.
How dare she? How dare she
Yep.
impugn the virtue of the dirty white girl?
I imagine dirty white girl is much like Mio Abe. How dare you impugn her? And
Just
we're lucky
pure as the
that
driven
dirty.
snow.
We're lucky that our Lord and Savior, Dirty White Boy, has allowed us to gaze upon the dirty white girl, much as Lord
Yeah.
Taichi would allow us to gaze upon Mio Abe.
I miss her.
Yes, me too. God damn it, New Japan. But by the way, Taichi, greatest singer in the world, he's the only person who can sing his song every single time, and it sounds exactly the same.
Sometimes like he'll drop the microphone, but his voice is so powerful that you can't even tell the difference.
Yeah, it's just one of a kind. Thank you, Taichi. All right. So from there we go to the pilot for House Hunters. So this is long, but we cut it up into two. Dick Murdoch is walking around the outdoors looking for a new house for him and his wife.
pretty nice, isn't it? Huh? Beautiful, isn't it?
Are you sure they're going to pay you enough money for this?
Don't worry about it. When Mama Cornette calls me, she pays me. When Mama Cornette tells the big man to come, there's money on the line. Don't worry about it. We're going to buy the biggest house there is. Look at this beautiful spot. And this is all for whooping a person. Just going to Tennessee, a stupid hillbilly hick place, and whooping their favorite hero, Bob Armstrong. Let's go down and pick us out a big home. You want to?
Okay.
Come on. Can you imagine going to Tennessee over Christmas holidays, going out there and going to whip their hero and get paid for it double? The promoter's got to pay me. And then Mama Cornette, the lady that always got me out of jail for the crystal pistol in Amarillo. You know, there's only one other person that she calls to get things done, and that's little Jimmy Boy, her son. But when she wants a man's job done, she calls for the big man, Captain Redneck, Dick Murdoch. So Bob Armstrong, we're fixing to get in here, and we're going to show you what we're going to buy with the bounty money. We're fixing to walk right over here, pick out a big home, and then we're going to go look at it. Mama Cornette, get that checkbook out, because the big man's coming, and it's the holidays, baby. Come on, got a beautiful planet, just going to Tennessee to do one night's work, huh? Enough money, it's in the bag to worry about. What do you think about that? What do you think, honestly? Huh?
I like it.
You like it? Well, let me tell you something, Bob Armstrong. You get ready, because this is our Christmas present right here. You see, when Mama Cornette calls and offers the money, the big boy gets on Delta Airlines, and he goes where it's needed. And you see, Armstrong, we go back a long, long time, because you remember Orlando, Florida, when Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch ruined your wrestling career. Now, you might be fooling all those hillbillies, all them ignorant, inbred hillbillies in Tennessee, because you're under a mask and they don't think you know who you are. But you see, Jimmy Boy Cornette called me and told me. And when he said, "Are you interested in coming?" Bingo, Daddy, I'm on the way. So, Armstrong, look at our new Christmas present, and I've got a good one for you, because it's going to be in a hospital. Armstrong, your days are numbered.
All right. So I love this. Like Dick Murdoch, and like I said, I think this is maybe it for Dickie Murdoch here in Smoky Mountain, but it's like they're setting up almost for him to get screwed by Jim Cornette and his mama and come back wanting revenge as a babyface.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just reading
that
too
would have
much
been.
into that.
Well, you know, that's just, you always want to leave it open in wrestling,
Exactly.
right? But
And
he's been just hitting it out of the park with these promos. That's 3 for 3, Dickie. Good job.
And I mean, next week's the best of, but I'm pretty sure he's done in 2 weeks, because I mean, why would he need to come back if he's not coming back? You know, that kind of thing. Let me
So
just
what are we doing?
double check here.
What are we doing in the next show? Are we watching the best
We're-
of, or are we moving on to the next one?
Nope, we're doing the best of.
Okay.
If it wasn't a case where like I'm doing all 200 episodes, then we'd skip it, but you know, it may be like a 10-minute episode, but you know, we'll see. So
Yeah.
actually, Dick Murdoch does come back for 2 weeks in March. So but that's it.
Cool.
Yeah, he hits all the big cities in March, including
Cool.
many cities in Kentucky that I doubt I'd ever heard of. Actually, I've only heard of because of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, like Harlan, Barberville, Hyden. I guarantee I'd never heard of those before in my life until I started watching Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And something tells me you're like, oh man, I've got great stories about Hyden, Kentucky, or something like that.
I've never been to Kentucky. I too have learned a lot of geography through wrestling.
So I'm fairly certain, and I mean it makes sense, that the house they were walking in front of was the house they were at on the first promo when Murdoch was shirtless.
I assume so.
Yeah. Just another side of the building.
Yeah.
So after that, we come back and Jim Cornette is going to cut the first half of a fantastic promo. Let's go to that now.
Fans, you just heard them right there. Some very serious words from Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch.
You know something? This weekend is Christmas Chaos. This program airs, we're taping it a couple days previously, but by the time this thing shows on television, one of two things is going to be taking place. Either Bullet Bob Armstrong is going to have that sock pulled off his face and have his true identity revealed, or Tom, I'm going to be bolder than a cue ball, and I can't think of... Shut up! Stop that, Baldy! Stop! Let me explain something, and I want everybody to listen real good. I don't know what's going to happen, but all I know is Dick Murdoch has a shot at the Bullet every night of the Christmas Chaos Tour. And whether it's $5,000 of my mother's money or whether it's my hair on the line, whatever it may be, when Murdoch meets Bullet Bob Armstrong, he's going to leave no stone unturned, because I'm paying him real good. He's going to get the bullet out of my hair, so to speak, once and for all. And then never again will Bob Armstrong's stinking carcass darken the doorstep of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, because on a personal note, Armstrong, look in my eyes and I swear to you, I mean what I say. I've never hated anybody in my life as bad as I hate you. You caused me nothing but trouble. And as bad as you want to humiliate me, Bob Armstrong, I guarantee you I want to humiliate you. I want to see you stripped of every bit of self-respect. I want to see all these people that love you so much abandon you. And I want to see you left a broken man. And Dick Murdoch is the guy that's going to do it for me. Now, talking about broken men, I want to take a look at what we did last week to that stinking no good, dumb jock mushmouth football player, Mike Furness. Go ahead and roll that videotape.
So nobody goes from comedy promo to serious money drawing promo better than Jim Cornette. And and Lord knows I'm not telling anybody anything they don't already know. But like that promo started and it's like he was doing his crying face and all that. It's like, okay, this is that. It's one of those promos. But then he turned off the waterworks and turned on the seriousness, and it was just fantastic. It sold tickets to a show that, had already sold enough tickets to already.
Yeah, this was what I say every time. Typical great Cornette promo.
Yeah. And it's like it kind of get old saying it's just a meat and potatoes Jim Cornette promo, when like your meat and potatoes Jim Cornette promo is better than 95% of the promos that you'll ever hear.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though. So they mentioned that by the time this airs, either Bullet is unmasked or Jim Cornette is bald. The one thing that and who knows, I don't always pay attention to the local promos, so maybe they mention it during one of them. Technically, if the Bullet lost the first night and is unmasked to be Bob Armstrong, then he's not going to have a match on the second and third night, right?
Okay. Hey, I am a little. I have been trying to figure out what exactly the deal was here. Now maybe they have explicitly said it and I'm wrong, but I think the actual hold on, what am I trying to say? It's like the matches are not matches where the stipulation is that the Bullet has to unmask if he loses. I thought the idea was that Murdoch would have three chances to physically take the mask off. Now, maybe I'm wrong about that, but that would explain, because my understanding is that the Cornette hair stipulation was only for Knoxville. And that,
correct. The first night is hair versus mask, and then the second and third nights are $5,000 versus mask.
Okay, yeah. Well, so I don't know if they're going to show any of this, but Murdoch won in Knoxville, and the Bullet won the other ones. So
Well,
whatever. I don't know if they show it or what.
I was hoping you didn't look it up because I was going to ask you what do you think the finish was. But
I'm sorry. I did.
so,
I did because
okay,
I needed to know the
so
results of the
well,
tour.
well, here's the thing. You know what you know who won, but you don't know what happened, right?
Right, right.
Okay. So don't look that up until we watch it because I know it airs either next week or the week after,
Okay.
and we'll go from there. Tell me, see what your thoughts are. I
All right.
I'm of one opinion that I think they robbed the fans of a stipulation again. You may think differently.
I I mean, I'm not disagreeing that they do they are kind of on the stipulations, but I don't know. Maybe I was just rational. Like, we'll see. We'll see what they do. We'll talk about it.
This, though, in my opinion, it's bad, but it's not the most egregious violating the stipulations that they ever do. That one either comes, I don't think it comes until next year, but it's a stipulation that it's like, okay, this is a hardcore stipulation, and they back out of it. Um, and I'll be honest, I
Okay.
think, and I've said this a few times, I think going back on these stipulations is a lot to do with why business went down a lot of times. It's not just because the gangsters were black and pissing off white people. I think, you know, as a fan, you get annoyed buying tickets to shows, hearing stipulations like that month after month or every few months, and then you realize that stipulations are meaningless. But
Yeah.
that's a that's a debate for the future. So they air Mike Furness being a dumbass from last week, which I Mike Furness was a dumbass. You know, sorry, Mike,
Still
it's
just
true.
so fucking funny.
Well, so after that, we go back to Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies for the Mike Furness portion of this promo.
And that was Mike Furness, but it's going to be a reunion. And Doug Furness, the strongest man in the world.
Are you guys scared of a couple of dumb jock football players?
Say this. First of all, guys, you are stepping on a different playing field altogether. You see, you may be really good when it comes to grass and dirt, but once you get on the mat, you're going to find out you're not so big and you're not so tough after all. You see, you're not just looking at a couple of average wrestlers. No, you are looking at the Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions. And when a couple of Tennessee volunteer football players want to step on our playing field, then we'll show you how the game is really played, right, Jimbo?
Oh, you're exactly right, cuz. Hey, football's one thing, just like he said. But what we do is a whole different sport. Hey, Doug, you may be tough, and you're so good you got to wrestle in Japan. Well, what I think is you're so bad you can't make it in the States, pal. So you bring your little brother on, and we're going to stop a mud hole in you, and I guarantee you the three of us are going to walk it dry.
Let's just take a look. Let's give a profile of the typical University of Tennessee student.
Yeah.
He's a dumb, stupid moron that goes to football games.
Yeah.
Now let's take a look at a typical University of Tennessee volunteer football player.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy that stays up all night studying for a urine test. He's the kind of guy that wins a gold medal in track and field, goes out and has it bronze.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy that wins a letter in football and has to have somebody read it to him.
Yes, it is.
All of those apply to Mike Furness, and all of those apply to Doug Furness. And boys, all I got to say is we are going to expose the University of Tennessee for what it really is. A second-rate school with a third-rate football team and fourth-rate students. And it's going to be us doing it. It's third down and goal to go, boys. Your punt.
I hate Christmas. Bah humbug.
And I hate football.
And I hate the Furnaces.
All right, fans, don't go away. You've heard it from the Heavenly Bodies.
All right. So the Furnaces are stupid, and University of Tennessee will be exposed as being a second-rate school with a third-rate football team and fourth-rate students. And I don't know about you, Trae, but I'm just like, they're not as good as UK football.
So
That's what's called a throwback.
That's yeah, that's long-term storytelling. So
Yep.
so when the bodies go to All Japan next year, is that them admitting that they can't make it in the States?
I guess because when do they go? Because I mean, they're going to be like full-time WWFers in like April. Spoiler alert.
I think they do a tour in like May.
Okay, so it might be one of those things that's like pre-planned or whatever.
Yeah, entirely possible.
So another good Cornette promo. Like, I do kind of like that they just kept him out there. Well, they kept him out there. He kept himself out there, for the whole 6 minutes instead of how it normally is. Cornette's out here to cut a promo. We go to commercial, we come back, we have a match. Then it's time for a Jim Cornette promo again. And then towards the end of the show, we might squeeze in another promo with him. This way it was one and done.
He should just stay out there the whole time, just the whole show.
He did do color on the second episode because they did two
Oh,
pilots. The first was Caudle and Dutch, and the second was Caudle and Cornette.
oh.
Yeah, but like he said to what's his name from Sinclair Broadcasting, he can pop the corn too, Joe. You know, but so we're going off on a good pace here. The show's pretty good, nothing to really write home about, but it's a good show. When, oh God damn it, my legitimate reaction when we came back from commercial, uh, Tim Horner's on my screen dressed for court.
Oh, I just knew that you were gonna be, because you thought he was gone. You thought
Yes.
we had seen the last of him. Oh, I thought of you in this moment, Arya.
I forget what time I actually watched this episode because like it's been a bit of a blur watching all this wrestling over the last few weeks to get ready for these
Yeah.
shows. Because yeah, this is the sixth show in 4 days that I'm recording. Um, and I swear, y'all better fucking listen to these goddamn shows. I'm gonna be so pissed off if you don't. Um, but yeah, Horner comes on the screen in a suit and tie, and I scream, "Oh God damn it!" I can only imagine what my neighbor thinks. Thankfully, there's like a little bit of a hallway between where I'm sitting and his door. But I might as well play this Horner promo. It's a minute long, and it might be the last time we ever hear from Horner. Fingers crossed.
Fans with me right now, here's White Lightning Tim Horner, and Tim, as you can see, he's really dressed out. As we say, Tim, you clean up real nice there, guy. I tell you, I know you're suffering an injury at the hands of Prince Karras. You re-injured your neck, as a matter of fact, in a match with Prince Karras. So what's now for Tim Horner?
Well, I tell you what, like you said, I was injured in a match, and I guess my career may be put on hold for a while. I'm still under doctor's care. I'm taking therapy. But I'm like anybody else, any hard-working man or woman out there. I hate to be out of a job.
Yeah.
And Smoky Mountain Wrestling has offered me a position. And especially right here at Christmas, being without a job, I got a baby on the way due any day now. So they've offered me a position, and that position will be working with a wrestling camp. And that'll be open to the public. And also, they've made me event coordinator down in the Cookeville area. We're on Channel 29 down there, so I want everybody out in the Cookeville area, down in Monterey, Sparta, Cookeville, Crossville, just call Smoky Mountain Wrestling if you want wrestling to come down there, and I'll personally come and see that we come there. And I appreciate your time, Bob.
All right, Tim, and good luck to you. Hope that injury is going to heal real quick for you.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, fans. White Lightning, Tim Horner, one of the real nice guys in professional wrestling. We'll be right back.
All right. So, in the interest of fairness, I do have some good news and some bad news. You just heard that
Okay.
he's going to be the promoter or the event coordinator in Cookeville, is how they labeled it. And Smoky Mountain Wrestling runs 9 shows in Cookeville, Tennessee. The problem is they don't start until after Horner leaves.
Well,
So,
what the fuck was he
yeah.
doing? Well, we know what he was doing. He was fucking Pam.
Oh my God, why didn't they put that up in the bottom of the screen during Horner's promo? versus Pam
Should have
Lawson.
put the Pam plug. By the way,
Just to see
the
Go ahead.
baby and the Pam got nothing to do with each other.
Yes. I mean, you think Horner's wife would know if it wasn't her knocked up with Horner's baby.
Yeah, that
Um,
would.
but yeah, they run their first show in Cookville in September, which is 2 months after Horner leaves. Um, and also Cookville is also the location of the very last Smoky Mountain show ever. So blame
Oh,
Horner. You know,
fucking Horner.
he became event coordinator in Cookville, and then Smoky Mountain Wrestling went out of business. Coincidence? I think not.
Fucking Horner.
Yep. All right. So then we get our main event. It's Beat the Champ TV champion Tracy Smothers versus our double champion, the WWA World Heavyweight Champion and the Smoky Mountain Junior Heavyweight Champion, Chris Candido. So they went 5 or 6 minutes here. Nothing like it wasn't a 5-star match. It wasn't a 4-star match, but it was like this 5 to 6 minutes made me want to see them feud, made me want to see them wrestle a lot more often. And I think that's what's going to happen, but I guess we'll see after Christmas Chaos. But yeah, um, this was
I could be
pretty damn good
mistaken,
here.
but I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could be mistaken, but I think that might have been the point.
Yep. And I believe this is the first ever time limit draw in Beat the Champ history. They
Yeah, they
basically
said
went,
that.
yeah, it was the expiration of time limit draw.
Which I think I
Now,
saw every one except for like the first couple.
yeah, because you came in right at the end of Tracy's title reign, because he was the first
Yeah,
champion.
my first show was the one where he lost to the Night Stalker.
So that was the fifth match, because that was him going for the $5,000. Say, you've seen
Oh,
all but well, I guess the original match and then 4 title defenses.
yeah.
So now they didn't drill this home because the show basically just went right off the air. But because Tracy didn't lose, this is considered a successful title defense, and he gets another $1,000.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
something
Well,
that they've said this in the past. It's like if any kind of non-victory by the challenger is a win for the champion, whether it's a time limit draw, double countout, double disqualification, yada yada yada. It's the same as a win for the champion, and they get the
I mean,
$1,000 and move on to the next one.
in the interest of pedantry, which I have a great interest in, if you are the champion and you hold the challenger to a time limit draw, you did in fact successfully defend the championship.
Oh yeah. I think it's more like when you think about like, okay, does this count as Tracy didn't technically win the match? Does he get $1,000? Does this count as a successful title defense in the run to 5? Yes, it does.
Yeah, I
And
suppose it would be up to the phrasing of the rules.
and the phrasing of the rules is simple. If the challenger does not pin or submit the champion, and if it's any other finish, doesn't matter what it is, then the champion wins, for lack of a better word, and gets $1,000. Which makes you wonder, like, and I know it's like, hey, it's wrestling. Why don't they just do this all the time? If wrestling is a shoot and a heel's the champion, bell rings, punch the referee in the face.
Yeah. If these heels are smarter.
Yep. So yeah, I want to see Candido and Tracy some more, and I'm pretty sure we get some more. So we'll have to wait and see for more. All right, so 100
Yeah.
down, 100 to go. We are officially 50% done. God damn. But yeah, good episode.
Did you notice?
Good episode.
Did you notice Candido was still wearing his WWA World Heavyweight belt, but the U.S. Junior Heavyweight belt was gone? But the Dutch did acknowledge that he was the champion because the idea was that he was going to be a triple champion if he won.
Yes. I thought Candido was actually going to win here. I was a
So did
little
I.
surprised he didn't.
Yeah, but I guess they're
Uh,
they're, 'cause they're gonna be married for a little while, aren't they?
Probably. I'd like to point out if Candido does become a triple champion, Paul Heyman was a genius putting him and Lance Storm together. You have Smoky
Yeah,
Mountain's triple
yeah,
champion and WCW's triple champion.
right,
All that was
right.
all that was missing was a three-person alliance with Ultimo Dragon, you know. Or
Or
remember
a
when Miz was the US champion and when they had two sets of tag belts and he was a
yes,
tag champs with the Big Show. It's like,
yes.
yes, yes, for the record, we just compared Chris Candido, Lance Storm, and Ultimo Dragon to the Miz.
Yeah, well, Mercedes Monet right now has four belts, three championships, but yeah,
Like, and she is so small that like watching her walk out with all those belts, it's like I start wondering what's heavier, the four belts or Mercedes Monet.
I want her to win the Ring of Honor title from Athena, and then I wanted to win the AEW World title from Tony Storm, and I wanted to win a Stardom title. I just want her to be like more belt than person.
She's gonna need Sonny Ono soon to come out carrying a few belts.
Hey, he's probably available.
I'm sure he is. So what else is happening in the world of wrestling this week, Trae?
Tell us.
Actually, a pretty famous moment. Starrcade happened with Ric Flair versus Vader in the career versus title match. This was the classic one match show where Flair won the world title, and thanks to winning this match, he is now allowed to wrestle for 29 more years.
Uh, yeah, yeah. He doesn't lose a retirement match 10 months later or anything. That's
Nope.
a fucking phenomenal match. If you've never seen that Flair Vader match, go watch it.
And I mean, like we talked about Starrcade 93 last week, I think. It's like the undercard, like Steve Austin wrestles Dustin Rhodes in a best of three falls match, and Lord Steven Regal, I think, takes on Ricky Steamboat. Neither match is as good as it sounds.
Yeah,
Just
I've seen the Austin and Dustin match.
now, Trey, you may need to cover your ears for what I'm going to tell you because the next thing is ECW related.
It's Holiday Hell was December 26th.
Yes,
Terry
you
Funk
need to.
Terry Funk defeated Sabu in a no disqualification match to win the ECW Heavyweight Championship. Is that correct?
Yes, and also they do like a weird exploding cage match gimmick with I think it
Oh,
was a Public Enemy and
yes.
Bad Company, and it went as
That
well
was
as the AEW exploding ring.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Yeah, that was the thing that if you listened to the Oh My God cast last week, so they were having it was a body count match that they promoted with a music video set to the song Body Count Anthem by the band Body Count. 10 out of 10 fucking promoting. Just outstanding. Whoever picked the
True.
songs understood the assignment.
Oh Lord. So that does it for our Smoky Mountain portion of the show. Um, and so now we move on to modern day wrestling. So if you're not interested in hearing our preview of WrestleMania being recorded 4 days before the show and airing 4 days after the show, now's the time to turn the show off.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. All right, now for the one person left. Um, so just going to run down the matches here and tell me what you think. But first, before going into WrestleMania itself, uh, SmackDown Friday, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So I think, because I think it's going to be like a storyline because Randy Orton is without an opponent. So I think the winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, they'll do a gimmick where they'll challenge Orton to the match at WrestleMania. And looking at the roster and the people who don't have a match that would be somebody they'd put against Randy Orton. Like Ray Phoenix doesn't have a match, but I doubt they'll do Ray Phoenix versus Randy Orton. I would say Solo. So
I was
Solo is
gonna,
my
I was
pick.
gonna, I was gonna be bold and pick Jeff Cobb, but he's actually wrestling his last New Japan match on Saturday, so he will not be there.
Dave actually put that there in one of the updates this week. He's like, Jeff Cobb will not be Randy Orton's opponent at WrestleMania. I'm like, isn't he wrestling in Japan on Saturday?
Yeah.
um, but do you want to throw out a guess for the winner of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal?
Um,
Keep in, keep in mind they haven't
let's.
even said who's in it. Like normally, like they have a graphic where like, oh, here's all the mid carders who are in it. They do not have a graphic, so could be literally anybody.
Yeah, I really don't know the roster that well anymore. Is LA Knight still doing things? Is he still popular?
He is, but he's defending the U.S. title against Jacob Fatu.
Oh, he's still the U.S. champion. Oh, I forgot he
Well,
won it
well,
back. Okay, yeah,
he's once again the
he
U.S.
won it.
champion. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, I know you were just dismissing the idea, but now I'm like, I think Randy Orton and Ray Phoenix would be pretty good. I don't
Well,
know.
I,
Who the fuck?
I
Who
bet it would
do
be
I?
great, but I don't think they would book it. At least right now.
Penta is
I
in the
mean,
Intercontinental title match, right?
yes. I guess like Sheamus, Braun Strowman, uh, uh, Jonah. What the fuck is his name? Bronson Reed, but I think he
Yeah,
won last year.
he won last
Uh,
year. Yeah.
yeah. Pete Dunne. I bet almost might be in it. Um, I love that sentence. I bet almost might be in it. I bet almost is in it. Chad Gable has a match. They're not gonna use Carlito or the Creeds. Or by the way, how far does Austin Theory fall? Like 2 years ago, he was a semi-main event, and this year it's like not even considered.
Yeah, he and the other guy kind of never hear anything about them anymore.
Grayson Waller. Honestly, I would have
Yeah.
said Dominic Mysterio, but Dominic's in the IC title match.
Yeah. I gotta pick somebody. Mm, Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee is gonna win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I don't fucking know.
Sounds good. Karrion Kross, by the way, was bragging that he doesn't have a match at WrestleMania, but he gets to sleep with naked Scarlett. So there's that.
Valid. Valid. I respect that.
All right. So I'm going to the always reliable Wikipedia and just going to read the matches in the order they're listed, which doesn't necessarily mean that this is the match order. Just that these are the the order that they're listed. So night one on Saturday, the War Raiders versus the New Day for the World Tag Team Championship of the world. They just had a match on Raw and it was ended in a disqualification.
Stupid question. New Day are still heels, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think New Day up probably.
I I that was my instinct, but at the same time, I think they're gonna go with the War Raiders because I don't know, didn't they just win the belts? It feels like they
I
just won them, and maybe
couldn't tell you.
maybe they won them 3 months ago, but it feels like they just won it. So I'm going with the
Couldn't
War
tell you.
Raiders just because. Actually, let me write these down. So so next week when we forget about this, I'll look at my notebook and be like, oh yeah, remember when we did this? Um, okay, so Andre the Giant Battle Royal, I said Solo, you said Dragon Lee.
Hmm.
Okay. And then War Raiders New Day, I took the War Raiders, you took New Day. Okay, and then Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano.
It sounds like something my wife would have me order at Starbucks.
It probably is. Um,
And
I'm
it's not a mass match.
Correct. And that's why I'm going with El Grande Americano because I can't imagine they're not billing to a mask versus mask match. So I'm picking him to
Yeah,
win.
I'm still gonna pick Ray.
Okay. We don't have to pick opposite, right? We can pick the same person.
I know, and that was part of it, but I'm not gonna do it every time on principle or anything. I just
Okay. So Jane Cargill versus Naomi.
Jade, I would assume.
Yeah, I think that's a safe one. Like, I don't, maybe I'm wrong, but this doesn't feel like a feud that's going to keep going. If it was, I'd say Naomi just to, you know, make the feud last a bit. But yeah. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the US title. I say we have a new champion here.
I fucking better be.
All right, so Jacob Fatu times two. Tiffy and Charlotte. I am torn on this one because
Uh,
I feel like they're like really, and I get that it's now, Hunter instead of Vince, but it's like I still think like they are just dead set on having Charlotte win the title 16 times. Um, and you
how
know,
many are we at?
I have no fucking idea. I think 11, maybe 12. We're getting up
Okay.
there. Um,
Yeah.
but let's see here. Um, See, this is kind of why I think the War Raiders are winning the opener because the other three title matches on Saturday, I have new champions, and I don't think they'll do all new champions. So I'm thinking Charlotte wins here.
I'm also thinking Charlotte wins here.
Okay. Then we get Gunther versus Jey Uso for the world title. Has there ever and I love Jey Uso, obviously. I celebrate it when I correctly predicted him winning the Royal Rumble. Has there ever been a year where both Royal Rumble winners like fell so as flat as these two have?
Has it been?
You
I have
know,
not seen anything. Has it been flat?
I don't know, and I don't really watch it either, but like when I'm reading about it, the entire build has been about how Jey Uso can't beat Gunther, which I guess, you know, it's a decent enough idea because, they've wrestled a dozen times and Gunther always wins. So that by itself is a decent enough idea, but like in every angle that I at least read a recap of, Gunther lays him out or Gunther comes out on top. And like it just feels like they're pouring cold water on Jay when like I get he's not going to be the guy moving forward, but it felt like they should be heating him up a bit more, especially going into a world title match at WrestleMania. But
They probably
even
don't care
yeah,
because I mean, like he's good. The people that night are gonna be all for him. So like, I don't know, whatever. He's like,
yeah.
he's gonna have it there. It's gonna take him fucking 45 minutes to get to the ring.
If he goes through the crowd, yeah.
I
Hopefully
can't
starts up
imagine
in
he's
like
not going
section.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully starts up in section 300, whatever I'm sitting Saturday night. I mean, I
It'd be
doubt he
great.
will, but
And I want to see that he starts in the upper bowl and then realizes there's no way to get down, so he has to go back and go through the concourse.
it, and then like this is when you go to the Peacock commercial because you go to the 3-minute Peacock commercial when you come back. Now Jay's made it down to the 100s and is going through the crowd. See, it's perfect. And I got Jay to win this one, even though, like I said,
I
you know,
yeah. I also think that I also think Jay's gonna win.
okay. So Roman, Punk, and Seth, the main event of night one. The story, Seth. I don't even know. Is Seth a fucking heel or not? I don't fucking know. Like Royal Rumble, he turned heel, and then like every time I read the results, I don't think he was a heel anymore. And Paul Heyman cashed in I guess CM Punk cashed in his favor with Paul Heyman, which I guess it makes sense that the favor was if Punk ever main events WrestleMania, Heyman's in his corner. But yeah, um, I say Roman, just using the New Japan logic that the ace goes over on the big show.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'll as a parlay, Roman pins Seth.
Okay, I'm gonna say Roman pins Punk.
It'll be a
My
tiebreaker.
brother and I, Roman and I used to do like these on every show, like back in the mid 2000s, and every
Roman and
triple
you?
threat match. What was that?
Roman and you used to?
My brother and I. Uh, my brother and I used to do these on every pay-per-view back in the 2000s, and there was a period of time where during every triple threat match, I'd pick one person, he'd pick a second person, and no word of lie, the third person would always win. Like
Uh,
I remember when they did a three-way IC title match on a pay-per-view with Carlito, Shelton Benjamin, and Johnny Nitro. And Johnny Nitro was far and away the biggest joke addition to the match. And so it's like, I don't know who I took. He took whichever Carlito or Shelton I didn't take. And the winner was Johnny Nitro. You know, shows you our
phenomenal.
fantastic prognostication skills. So Sunday night,
And
we have Liv and Raquel versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria for the women's tag team titles. Um, what do you think?
subs repeat the match.
Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending the women's tag team titles against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria.
We've had a lot of title changes. I'll say Liv and Raquel slip over.
Mine wasn't because we've had a lot of title changes. Mine is because Lyra is the Intercontinental Champion already.
Yeah, yeah, I was
So
gonna say that.
I don't think they
It
put
would
both belts.
it would stand to reason that somebody might pin her to set up a match for her title.
True. Or it's possible because like it's probably too early for this, but they are going really strong on the Bayley Lyra friendship angle that it's like, okay, one of them is turning heel on the other. So
Yeah, probably not yet.
yeah. And then we get AJ Styles and Logan Paul. And
Huh.
I'm not saying this is an interesting match. I'm saying the result sounds interesting because here's the thing. Logan never wins. I mean, okay, that's a lie. He was U.S. champion forever, but it just feels like in big important matches, Logan doesn't win. Um, AJ obviously at the tail end of his career and is here to have a really good match with Logan Paul if they can. Um, and I don't know. It's like, and I know Logan's gonna have his fucking douchebag friends that I have no idea who the hell they are. And he'll probably have that guy who I thought was R-Truth in his corner a few years ago.
I show
But
speed.
if that's who it is. Um,
He was in the
and
Royal Rumble this year.
if that's who it was, sure. Um, I've blocked that memory from my mind. Um, and the last angle, I think on Raw, Logan laid out AJ, which typically means, at least until like a decade ago, that typically meant, the other guy is winning on the show. Um, but I don't know. I'm thinking Logan wins this one.
It kind of makes me sick, but you're probably right.
All right. IC title four-way, Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. Um, Dominic felt out of nowhere. Like I know he like him and Finn have been teasing shit for what feels like a year now, but it's like like it felt like they were really building up that three-way with Braun, Penta, and Finn, and then Dominic felt like it just came out of nowhere. And I think that's it. I think Dominic wins the belt. And
I agree.
I think he pins Finn to win it.
Is it a four-way?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Braun, Penta, Finn,
okay.
and Dom.
Okay, I missed that Finn was in it. Okay, yeah, you're probably right.
Okay. Um,
So I guess this is getting
and
boring because I'm agreeing with you, but you lay it out
yeah,
so logically that yeah, that makes sense.
and watch, we got like two right of all this. Um, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre and I did not know this was a thing, but this is what Wikipedia says, a Sin City street fight.
Oh, a Sin City street fight.
Yes. Um,
Um,
so Priest won last year at WrestleMania when he cashed in Money in the Bank, and he won at Clash at the Castle or whatever show that was where Punk came down as the referee. And then they did like when they did Money in the Bank and Drew cashed in to make it a three-way with Priest and Seth Rollins, Priest won again. And
uh-huh.
it's like I think at this point, even though I think this feud, even though it's a street fight, I think this is the first match of a prolonged feud at this point. I think Drew wins this one.
We've been agreeing too much, so I'm gonna say that Priest wins again.
Okay. By the way, not that I'm begging for her to be on the show, but where the hell's Nia Jax? She was the women's champion for like 6 months, and it's like she disappeared. Which
Well,
I'm not gonna make a joke about Nia Jax disappearing either. Um,
she's not like
speaking,
most girls.
yes. Oh, that's not her theme anymore. Um,
Well,
then we then we go to a
fuck good as
match.
any of it then. I'm sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Then we go to a match. I am really intrigued about where this goes because I cannot pick a logical winner here. It's Io versus Bianca versus Rhea for the women's title. I'll I'll be honest, I don't think they put it on Rhea, even though they went through all this effort to have Rhea get entered into the match. I don't think she wins because she just lost it to Io. Um, I think, so, I mean, Bianca's in this, and but I think Io wins this because the story that at least Rhea's been telling on her Instagram page, whether or not this is a story on TV, who knows? But the story Rhea was telling on her Instagram page was that she's never beaten Io Sky. And so if that somehow segues onto TV, I think Io wins here and they build to a singles match maybe next month or down the road at least.
So is Io a heel?
I don't think any of them are heels.
See, I thought she had turned babyface, but then that would mean they're all
Yeah.
three baby faces, and that is very odd.
Yeah. Um,
Huh. I can't.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna take a stab and say that Io retains.
I've got Io pinning Rhea is my prediction.
Because Io's never won a match at WrestleMania, has she?
No, but it's not as bad as Asuka, who doesn't even have a match this year. But Asuka is the reverse Undertaker.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but yeah, Io has never won a match either. But I think she's only had two. She had that 6-woman tag against
Yeah.
Becky Lynch, Trish, and Lita a few years ago that went for fucking ever. And then they had the match with Bayley last year.
Well, I will say that Io pins Bianca just to create some friction.
Yes. just to get some differences between you and I. And honestly, you're probably closer to right because Rhea is the if there's a woman's ace in WWE, it's Rhea. So like she's probably not going to get pinned, but I think if they go with the story that in my head they're doing, that I think she gets pinned here because I think it would make sense. Then main event time. After 87 matches between two nights, Cody Rhodes and John Cena for the WWE Championship.
Cena. I think Cena.
I still think Cody, but I have less faith in Cody winning now than I did when this match started being talked about like 3 months ago. But I still think Cody's gonna win. Um,
It just it seems like such a waste if you finally do the Cena heel turn and like him losing to Cody at WrestleMania is all they get out of it.
I'm sure there's a way to keep it going. Because in my opinion, it's like you don't have to have him break the record now. In fact, you don't even have to ever have him break the record. I think you can get a lot of mileage out of Cena losing and being pissed the fuck off that he still can't win this fucking 17th world title. And it ends up going throughout the year. And you build to a match, I say, like the last Saturday night's main event of the year in December. Cena is still at 16 and he wrestles one of the champions. And you can either have him win and you can either have him lose or have him do what I said there, what my long-term prediction is that Cena wins and then they vacate the title. And then WrestleMania next year is the winner of the Royal Rumble versus the winner of the Elimination Chamber for the title that Cena vacated. Because let's be honest, you don't need a champion nonstop. Like, yes, it's great to have one, but they're going to draw the same whether, you know, Heath Slater has the belt or, no one.
So I try to think about this logically, and that's where I fuck myself because it doesn't matter, and they're just gonna do whatever. Like logically, I can argue that well, if the finish here is Cena losing so that he's angrier and has a bigger chip on his shoulder, I think logically you should have done this one as a babyface match and then done the turn.
Possibly.
But again,
I
I'm
yeah,
trying to think about this logically, and I probably I don't. I think we are putting more thought into this than the people who are making the decisions are putting into it.
probably. I think it's I, few things. I have a few reasons why I think Cena loses. He keeps being booked for all these shows, but he's also cut promos as like he's going to be the last real champion. And if he is like bound and determined to retire as champion, if he's going to win the belt, why wouldn't he just like take a Brock Lesnar schedule? Like if I understand it's his retirement tour, he's going to wrestle a whole bunch of times, et cetera, et cetera. But if this is why wouldn't he win the belt? And then it's like, okay, I'll see you bitches at SummerSlam. You know,
I don't know.
um, I do think they could go your way and have Cena win, and then it's like the story of the next 9 months is we need someone to fucking beat him because we can't let him retire as champion because it'll somehow destroy the lineage of the 65-year-old WWE championship to have it vacated and have nobody beat him and he's the all-time linear WWE champion even though I don't think Cody's the linear WWE champion. I could be wrong. But, you know, we can't let that happen. We have to have an actual champion and yada yada yada. I I don't know. I don't think and who knows, that may not even be the story, but I don't think that's a story that can go 8 months. Um, but I guess we'll see. One of us are going to be right, one of us are going to be wrong, and watch the go 60-minute time limit draw. It's Um, so I guess the other thing, and I guess I don't know if they've ever actually if they've said it per se, but it's strongly implied that Orton is going to have a match against somebody, and I've made my case Solo's going to win the battle royal and then challenge Orton. I'm going to ask you two questions. Do you think Orton, or I'm sorry, yeah. Do you think Orton is going to have a match? And if so, who do you think he wrestles?
Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis? Okay.
Nick Aldis.
Honestly, because didn't he RKO Nick like 2 weeks ago or something? When he did
Yes,
that,
yes, yes.
when he did that, I thought that's where they were going to go with it. And then, like, I don't think they brought it up at all last week. So it's like, you know, it could be like
Is it?
Lashley, like when Lashley was supposed to wrestle Bray, and then Bray got sick. Lashley ended up walking out with the Andre the Giant trophy. Now, I'm not expecting Orton to be put in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but it's possible they do something similar where they just have Orton come out and pose to the crowd like Lashley did. I, as long as
Yeah,
they
I
don't
don't
have,
know.
as long as the
I think
Miz
they're
doesn't
probably
wrestle
gonna.
Shane McMahon, it'll be a good WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think Orton's probably. We'll probably do something. Complete aside, but so I was watching one of the New Japan shows from the last tour that I had missed, and Callum Newman before they vacated the title 9 days later, had just become the youngest IWGP Tag Team Champion. And Walker Stewart was referring to the previous youngest IWGP Tag Team Champion, who the name that Nick Aldis formerly used, but instead of saying Magnus, he said it like he was saying the CML wrestler Magnus. And then it was so funny because like I was confused, and then you could tell in his voice that he confused himself, and that just I thought it was funny, and I wanted to share it since it came up.
I was gonna say, do you think he knew which Magnus it was?
I'm sure he did because you could tell that he's like, what? Why did I say that?
Okay, okay. Oh Lord. Okay, so I have I've got to throw this show up on YouTube and schedule it for a week from 2 days from now. And then go to sleep because I'm going to Vegas, bitches.
Have
So
fun.
I will. You may hear this from beyond the grave of all these fucking planes keep fucking going down and crashing and
Uh,
God knows what else. And hey, my layover is in San Diego tomorrow, and San Diego just had a fucking earthquake. So we'll see, I guess. This may be the final show you ever hear from me, and some people might cheer when you hear that, but hopefully not the case.
and then I'll come back with something else.
Um, and hey, if you're still listening to this after we started the show, singing Laverne and Shirley and Green Acres, you're a hardcore something else fan, even if there's only two of you.
And we love you.
We love you. Until at this point, until next week, which is 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Hilarious. But thank you all for listening. We'll talk to you again in 7 days.
Bye.